Alright, people, welcome back. So, when me notice, and sometimes, let me tell you something. You see, when you see the signal and the sign, it good for you for light, because me drop a video, say lizard people, and the truth about it. And me say, a lot of people are watch it, but let me tell you what with this channel is that it is more centered around business. That me really want kind of aim it towards them. I don't really want to get too much into, you see me? But when we realize that people want to hear about them thing and me watch it, almost 400 views already, so me I say, you know what, if we can focus on that. So I'm bridging David did a talk about the lizard people and all these things. So let me tell you what I go on now. Me's a Muslim recently, a years now, almost 7 years me's a Muslim now, so and a little bit of time that. But obviously me as a Jamaican and all of these things, and there's certain superstition when me grew up on, and you probably grew up on them if you're a yardie. If not, then you're going to hear about them superstition. And from one of them is that if you pine pan grave, you have to bite your 10 finger tight, hard. And me say, we used to do that, bite with 10 finger. And remember, I think in a little school or about grade 3, me I say, hold on there, this don't make no sense. And we stopped do that. You understand what me I say? And if you's a parent, let me just tell you straight up. Teach your pitney truth and stop lying to them. You know what I mean? Not give them no story and no fake nothing. Verify information before you pass it on. And so you stop spread the disease of ignorance. Right? And culture not necessarily need to be with any ignorant thing, all these things. Cut that out. I mean, I talk about ignorance in the proper sense and not just in the Jamaican sense when a man say, you know what, I'm ignorant already, meaning that him easy to get frustrated and him hot skull in the hot, you see me? So I'm saying ignorant. And in the true sense of the word ignorance, it simply means that not knowing. The opposite of knowing is not knowing. Synonymous, you're ignorant. So all the way ignorant. As we are pitney growing up, we're ignorant and we learn. That's why we got to school to learn your 1, 2, 3, your ABC. You understand? I just said the whole thing set. But back to the lizard people now. Alright. Now, when they say somebody dead, it's very strange if you really think about this, because them say if you got hell, you go down in the ground, and then if you got heaven, you go up in the sky, right? So what they teach you when you're a pitney. But then we really think about it and then say you become a duppy. So me not understand that. If you really think about it, who become a duppy? You when you go down in the ground and you die hell, or when you up in the heaven? Or is that you roam on the earth for a certain amount of time and then you got heaven or hell? Me not really understand it, but that is a part of the culture. This is something where them teach we are picnic growing up. And me as a man, young youth growing up, me always find it intrigue. It's a question of me always ask myself, what happened to you when you're dead? You really become dopey all of these things. Now, you probably ask the same question, and as a Jamaican, a yard, you probably can't figure it out. Or if you're not a Jamaican and you're really tuning in, and you can understand what I say, then you also know that it is something that you probably think about what happened to you when you're dead, right? And a lot of people do not know. Now, in Islam, it makes certain things clear. Now, why I mention that dead and the lizard people is that now, back in a 2000 and some change back 14, drop 7 after that, 2007, there's a lot of conspiracy theory did that go around, right? And me did have a paper that we did that talk about the last time, is that it's a paper about people believing in alien and why it lead to that, right? So what them believe says that the people control the government, the global government is not human being in and of themselves, but is that there are some alien people, some shapeshifters where take on human form, and that them really control certain things, right? So a lot of people believe, and Mark Zuckerberg is one of them people, Bill Gates is one of them people. So them believe, So me say, oh, people believe all of these things. Now, is there a species that exists on this earth other than human beings? Where we believe as Muslim is yes. We believe there's a next species that exists other than human beings. And these creatures are called jinns. Right? Jinns. Now, with that being said, if we can establish that when somebody dead, the spirit does not roam about, right? The spirit is in a different realm from the world of the living. So the spirit does not roam around. This is in Islamic belief system, that the spirit does not roam around. Your situation done, you're being held to be held accountable for what you used to do when you're alive. And based on the judgment, when the judgment day is established, is either you go hellfire forever or paradise forever, or hellfire for a certain period of time to expiate certain sins. So you get punished for certain things you do, and then after you fulfill the sentence, then you'll be going to paradise for eternity, or you just got the hellfire for eternity. Why? Because you did upon polytheism. What is polytheism in a nutshell? Worshipping anything along or other than the Creator. So the right of worship, the right of worship is exclusively to the Creator. And this is the reason why human beings were created. The only reason why me and you exist is for worship the one who make us exist in the first place. For some reason, human beings have a very difficult time to accept that. I don't know why. A lot of it goes back to blind following them culture, right? Just like the first people, the people of Noah, them say, are you trying to take us away from where we find our forefathers following? Them not think about what is being said. Them no reason. They not look into it. Them just cling on to where them know the culture, and them follow the people in a destruction. In spite of good sound reasonable argument, there are not people that use reason and think deeply about certain things. And so that is basically what we throw a person at the hellfire for eternity or paradise for eternity. Now, with that being said, and the reason why I mentioned that is this: if the soul does not come back when them dead, then what we have here is a different creature, as we mentioned. So these are jinns. Now, just as our human being split in a different belief system, different religion, different sects, likewise, same thing with the jinn them. So them can see we when we can't see them. And the same thing in Aladdin, the genie. Yes, the same idea and the same concept. So it goes back in that time of Babylon, back in that time of Solomon, and these ancient time, and now where you have the Wobia man and the voodoo man, different culture call them different thing. And that's why you see in many different culture. In Jamaica we call them Duppy. But when we say use Duppy or spirit, right? Because there's a synonymous term between Duppy and spirit in a Jamaican terms, but we are going to just say Duppy. So some people say them see Duppy, we are going to say them see the jinn them, right? And them can come in a different form. They can get the form of dog, they can shape and all of these things. So the people with the magic, real magic. Sometimes you see man fly and walk on water, right? And you say I'm a trick. What do you mean a trick? The man go up on the water and the man a fly, you see it with the 2 eye them. What do you mean a trick? A lot of them they have a jinn, them hold them up. So the way this work is that based on your level of morals, right? They make you do certain things. So for example, a man in a church or in a synagogue or in a masjid and deal with certain things, him have to show loyalty to them. So the way him would show loyalty wouldn't be the same way a man when normally frequent club and whorehouse and all these different things show loyalty, because he's not about that kind of lifestyle. But for sure loyalty, they make you do certain things. So some people kill them mother, kill them daughter, kill them niece, kill them family, all of these things for sure. Say them really devoted to these things, because when a lot of people detach themselves from the scripture and truth and knowledge, then them fall into these things. So imagine now you don't know nothing about certain things, and then you hear these things, I talk to you and I tell you certain things, and I come in a different form. You believe say they're upon the enlightened part. So when this thing tell you to do certain things, you find a lot of people jump to do it, right? And them feel so them know certain things. So the jinn can follow somebody woman, kind of see what I want and come tell them what I want, and they say, yeah. Them know. So I just saw a thing set. So the Obia man, them know, them work with them worship them, and then do certain things to please them, sacrifice for them. So they might kill a chicken, kill a goat for them, and then kill them in their name. Basically, them become them God, and them worship these things. And in exchange for this worship, then these jinns, these duppy, them do certain things for them. Right? So for Obia man, them do magic on the people. They would have say, alright, go do this, and then put an eagle in a, even though they find the voodoo doll, and then put in their foot, and then go and make my man their foot swell up, and this and man their foot swell up. See al Muta Baruka, where am I saying they find nothing wrong with this. So we're not gonna get into that what Muta Baruka say. But that basically is the lizard people in a certain culture. Let's just say in American culture, in the Middle Eastern culture, the jinn, like the Chinese spirit, Chinese culture, and Buddhism, them many writing and talk about like the spirit. Some of them live in a tree in the forest, and them go worshiping them. In Jamaican, in Middle Eastern culture, it's called the jinn. The Jamaican culture, we call it the duppy. Probably in a Guyanese culture, you call it something else. So you find the same creature, the same characteristics about them throughout the ages, and people interacting with them, and them interacting with people, and I do certain things for them, and I help them out with certain things, and that I go on, that did I go on, and that still I go on. So the thing is that when ignorance become prevalent, when the people detach themselves from scripture, and the people don't know about certain things, then once that darkness is there, then it is very easy for somebody come and appear to be smart, because you got to decipher truth from falsehood, why a yardstick, why I use measure it. And sadly, we have to adjust this. So Christianity not even go scratch the surface, and that is our next topic as to why them not get into that, and they don't know much about that, right? But that's how it goes. So the lizard people, some people in contact with them, and they have a certain plan, because the devil himself, if you ask the average man which part the devil there, if he believe that there is a devil, he probably going to tell us that the devil in a hell. But the reality is nobody in a hellfire yet, because the judgment is established. You understand me I say? Nobody in a hellfire yet, after the judgment. So the devil is upon the earth, as though me and you upon the earth, and the devil is not a fallen angel, but the devil was one of the jinn them, one of the duppy them. And Fime's story is very interesting, because Fime's story is a story where, when you really think about it, that mash up a lot of people. Pride. And say pride come before the fall. You understand? Wanting things to be exactly how you want it, and not willing to accept truth, especially when in front of you. And that happening, and can't understand certain things, so you reject it completely. You give yourself, and that happened to the devil. So what me know is that when Adam was created, the Creator tell the angel them and Iblis, that name my devil, say, when this man is completed and the soul is blown into him, fall down in prostration, bow down in respect to this new creation. And that was given. And when all the angels them bow down, Iblis stand up The question was asked, why aren't you prostrating, bowing down to one when the order is given? Iblis, I am better than him. You created me from clay. You created me from fire. You created him from clay. I say, I am not one to bow down to one you create from clay. Me? So he must say, wait, fire better than clay. So how come me supposed to bow down to him? That don't make no sense to me. So me not want that. That happening, you know. And a lot of people are just like that in many sense. That's why I then say the creed of Iblis is this: is using the rational and rejecting the revelation based on me up your soul. Don't there's a me nah go bow down. No. Call me the up your soul. And a lot of people reject guidance because them feel say for them culture they up your soul. Right? So if a man races, creed of Iblis, different stem, but it stem from ignorance. Because Iblis didn't know. He believes them understand what wants. So him formulate theme way of thinking and own things that things supposed to go. Right? Some ignorance lead to him being arrogant. So ignorance lead to arrogance. And because I'm arrogant and in pride, it destroy him. And from a regular believer, a worshipper of the creator to one where everybody know nobody don't want to be like the devil, nobody want to follow the devil. What happened? That pride come before its fall. So that's why you have to humble yourself. And a lot of people, because of what them have from the material things of this world and from what them desire and how them believe reality is supposed to be, they reject truth. And that is really sad. So me advise myself and me advise yourself. When the truth come to you, humble yourself. If you understand it, give yourself time. Try to research it before you reject it. Because, and I said this already, and I'm going to say it again, is this: if you don't know 100% that this is falsehood, then there's a chance of it being truth. And even when we say 50-50, is either right or it wrong. You don't know unless you can prove it wrong. And if you cannot prove it wrong, then there's a chance of it being right. You can't just, a man come and tell us it and you say a lie. Why? Because you don't believe. Why you don't believe? Because it's not in accordance to the way you want, and it's not in accordance to the way you desire. So that means they have to be wrong. How many things is like that? That it is only right because you believe it right, and it is only wrong because you believe it wrong. No, we know, me know and you know, say truth and falsehood is not based upon me nor you, right? And every man decides, say, this is right because me believe it's right, and this is no, it is independent. So if a man come to you and say, yo, if you do that, that are gonna lead you to the hellfire, or the hellfire exists, and it's this fire we gonna burn for eternity, and you're gonna stay in there forever, and it is a fire way worse than this a fire, and even this a fire upon the earth, afraid of that the fire there, and it gonna burn forever, and that are this threat of the creator. And if you do this, you stay away from that, then there's a promise of this paradise, and you have water and river and palaces and wealth and money and all these things where you love, and it's gonna last forever. Then you, as a human being, were born in this world yesterday, have to take it upon yourself, a personal responsibility to look into it. So you make sure, say, if you reject it, you reject it upon straight, clear evidence. You know, reject it based on a maybe or perhaps, because the risk is extremely high, and every business investing intelligent person know this, right? Because based on the level of risk, you take the chance, and the chance is this: if this person is right, that simply means that you will be destroyed for eternity. A time span that has no end. That is eternity. You are done for. You that wish you were never created to exist only to be in pain and misery that only get worse. So that means you never have chance to adjust, to be patient with it. And you tell me something like that, a threat, the greatest threat that can be issued. You want to take a 50-50 chance because you know feel say it's supposed to be like this because your people them never teach you that, or your people them never teach you this, and you cock up your tail up in here and you walk around pridefully because you have some money in your pocket and your job probably good and all these things. Really? Then what you say to the creator now, if you wrong and they depend on the day, what you gonna say? You know, what excuse you can put forward for yourself that you feel is a just and sound excuse? And so that's why we have to think about them things, people. And we can't follow the big-headed people and we just make a bunch of noise. You see me? Because at the end of the day, you're born alone. At the end of the day, you are alone. You have to deal with what you have to deal with alone. No matter who you have in your life. Even if you have 1,000 wives. If you're a man and you have 1,000 wives. At the end of the day, you are alone. You were born alone. And you are go dead alone. And that is sufficient. If you step back, come off of your high ass or your high camel or whatever you ride, come off of cloud 9 and come down to the earth and think with a level head and look into the evidence them unbiasedly, keenly, and weigh it with your intellect and accept it. If it makes sense to you, accept the truth when it comes to you. Because all of what distract you now, your money is soon going to dry up. If you're young, you're going to get old one day if you live that long. And your beauty, if you look good, you're going to wrinkly. And if it's an old man, you're going to become an old man or an old woman. And if it's a woman, even worse because your beauty dry up really fast. Really faster than the man. So you look into these things. And nobody make what you have fool you. Because you can lose that at any time. One more time you hear some people who spun down. Somebody have a good job. We require a certain strength. Something happen to them, then lose their mind, then can't do it. Maybe then lose one of them foot, maybe then lose their mind, maybe then can't. Many different, too much variable, too much different element and factor. We can't even get into it. So nobody make what you have fool you. Humble yourself, look into the truth and accept the truth. I just that. And nobody make people. Because nobody now go come, you know. From me a pitney I grew up, I grew up with my great grandmother, and a lot of old friends she have. And from me a pitney, me always a go funeral. Almost every Sunday, every other Sunday me a go funeral. I'm usually tired of it. And not one funeral. Remember one time I got a funeral and so much rain that fall because the way you probably know if you're Jamaican and you can probably understand how this works already, but a lot of people don't understand over here is that the grave them make out of concrete, so it's like a 6-foot pool, right? Square box, and when rain fall, the water full up, and because they dig up the ground, is that all of this dirt kind of compile, so you have the mud, and the coffin turn over, and then just throw the steel and just bury it. Nobody now lay down in a grave with nobody. Let me tell you that. So nobody make what you have fool you. Nobody make the money where you have in your bank account fool you. Nobody make your family where they run you fool you. Nobody make your pitney them fool you. Nobody make your woman them or your wife them fool you. Or your man them or your man or your husband fool you. You is alone, and when you shut your eye, when you die, you see where you dream? Notice who in your dream with you? You alone. You alone. No matter how much you love or how much you are being loved, you alone. And that is a clear sign and indication every single night when you go to bed that you are alone. So wake up and smell the chai tea. or the apple cinnamon. Alright people, and that we are gonna have. I don't know what it's gonna be, but that we are gonna have, because it seems like I'm gonna love this. So now get our next side of me. Cool now. Take it easy. Remember, at the end of the day, you are alone, you're born alone, and you will die alone. Alright, take it easy and give thanks. Don't know.